from Lille, France, the Winter Drag Racing Championships from Pomona, California, and the World Cross Country Skiing Championships from Oslo, Norway. Travel arrangements made during a promotional speech.
Face in the history of weightlifting, Vasily Alexiev of the Soviet Union. Winning 8 world championships in the super heavyweight class, no man had lifted more weight in competition. But now, there's a new face on the scene. Also from the Soviet Union, Anatoly Pisarinko. He already holds 2 of the 3 world records for the super heavyweight class. He brings a new dimension to the sport. Where Alexiev weighed over 350 pounds, he weighs nearly 100 pounds less at 269, but he has lifted more. The new emphasis is on physique, the development of technique, of new training methods. We'll see him compete today at the World Weightlifting Championships from Lille, France.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Brought to you by Holiday Inns. Come to Holiday Inns where your smile says we're #1 in people pleasing. By Hannon, the manufacturer of fine plain paper copiers. And by Republic Airlines. Nobody serves our Republic like Republic.
In Lille, France.
Centuries ago, through this specially built arch, the people of Lille, France welcomed King Louis XIV into their city. In the 1930s, they constructed a magnificent tower to enhance the beauty of Lille. Ironically, it became used as the main lookout post by the conquering German army in northern France. But now the view is of a peaceful city, of old and new, where today the focus is on the world of weightlifting. The people of Lille have welcomed the weightlifters of the world to their sports palace to find out who is the best. This barbell weighs 567.5 pounds. That represents the super heavyweight record in the clean and jerk lift, and it's the most weight ever lifted overhead by man in competition. Pretty incredible, isn't it? Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Biatti, and I think sometimes we have a tendency to take athletic excellence for granted. Certainly in weightlifting, that's no different. You know, try to put it in some kind of perspective, maybe by thinking about what it would be like to lift 2 washing machines at the same time. Or let's say 2 260-pound NFL linemen overhead at the same time. Well, I guess we all realize that for most of us, at least, that'd be pretty impossible. But let's bring in a person who can help us better understand all of this. America's top super heavyweight of all time, who himself has lifted 485 pounds overhead, Bruce Wilhelm. Bruce, it seems like these guys keep lifting more and more weights every year.
Well, they do, and it's really an incredible thing, but there's several reasons for it. One is the better nutrition. The men eat better than they've ever eaten before. Another thing is eating a greater amount of food than they have before. They're using a nutritional aspect, such as vitamin therapy, things of this nature. Also, through sports medicine, they've increased the amount of training load from 5 tons up to 20, 25, 30 tons a day, 4 or 5 days a week that they're lifting and training. This represents a tremendous amount of strain on the body, and they get as much out of the body through these scientific methods as they possibly can. And these are the basic reasons that the weightlifting records have increased. Plus, one of the major reasons is that the lifters today from the Eastern European countries, they don't work. They full-time lift weights.
Well, the Eastern Europeans certainly have come on very strong. Bruce, do you think I'd have a chance of getting this off the ground? Keeping in mind that only one man's ever gotten it overhead.
You don't have a prayer. You don't have a prayer.
Watch this.
Be my guest.
You're right. I think I need a little bit of help. Let's bring in our Vice President of European Operation Affairs, Jacques. Jacques, let's get this overhead. This is not going to be very hard, is it?
I don't.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. I think we need a little more help after all. Yeah. Now let's get Bob Lanning, our Associate Director, in here. Come on, Bobby. We can do it. The 3 of us can do it. I know we can do it. 1, 2, 3. Well, maybe we're not as strong as we thought we were. Mary Ann, maybe you could come in and give us a hand here. Mary Ann Gravabor, our production assistant.
Move over, guys.
Okay.
No problem.
1, 2,
3.
Hey. Nothing to this.
I didn't know I was that strong, Pete.
Oh, wait a minute. Bruce, what are you doing over there? That's not fair.
Told you need a little.
I thought we had it tipped here. Well, backstage in the warm-up room where he has to lift alone, we're looking at Blagoyev of Bulgaria, 25-year-old, and he won the snatch lift. Zakarevich was second, and Piotrowski of Poland was third. Bruce, let's take a look at that snatch lift. This was his third attempt. He lifted for a new world record, 407 3/4 pounds.
No, the intense concentration goes into a lift of this magnitude. He's snatching over double body weight. He's one of the heaviest men ever to snatch over double body weight. There's a lot going through his mind right now.
Keep in mind that this was the world record, 407 3/4 pounds. One continuous motion overhead.
Beautiful lift.
Bruce, he's really strong, isn't he?
Very strong, and he puts it right in the slot. That's a solid lift. You'll never see a better lift than that. Arm's length, there's no question about that lift being 100% good.
And now it's back to the clean and jerk competition, and coming out as the sensational 18-year-old from the Soviet Union who was second after the snatch, Yuri Zakarevich. Bruce, this guy really is something.
It's really incredible. A kid 18 years old, and in fact, the story is that he's going to be moving up a weight class probably because he's young and he has height on him. He's 5'10".
479 and a half pounds.
It's a lot of weight. Notice he's wearing sleeves on his knees. He's got to give him a little support and protection also. He's also wearing Russian weightlifting boots, which have leather soles. He better have some rosin on his feet or he might slip when he jerks. We've seen this happen in the past.
That's the signal that there's 1 minute to complete the lift. Great concentration.
You know, it's amazing if you look at him. He just doesn't have the physique to handle this kind of weight. And he has no fear. He has no knowledge of anything stopping him. That's one of the great things when you're young. You're able to overcome things. Nice, clean grinds to the sticking point, easy. Notice how it's set on his clavicle there on his chest. Notice that's got to be painful. Look at that.
479 and a half pounds. I can imagine it would be. Easily overhead.
Jerk.
Zakarevich now takes the lead in the competition. First attempt in the clean and jerk. And we can see in the upper right-hand corner of our screen 3 white lights from the judges. It only takes 2 out of 3 to make it a good lift. Let's take another look, Bruce.
Nice pulling position. His hips are a little bit high. Starts the bar. Brushes very smoothly on the thighs. Notice how he turns his elbows over. The bar is racked in very solidly. Grinds up through the sticking point, but he uses the bar to his best advantage.
Looks like that weight is actually spinning.
They sure are. They've had a lot of problems with this particular barbell set in this competition. Now they spin the other way. The weights aren't perfectly balanced, and they have roller bearings. It's something new. We've had a lot of injuries. I think it might be related here.
Those are on roller bearings?
On roller bearings, yes.
Well, that's really going to put the pressure on Blagoyev of Bulgaria, who we're looking at right here. Remember, he won the snatch lift. He'll be coming up. In Lille, France for the World Weightlifting Championships, 198-pound class in progress, and we're now coming up on Blagoyev of Bulgaria. Bruce, he is only 5 feet 7 inches tall.
He really is short. In fact, he moved up a weight class in the Olympics last year. He lifted in the 82.5 kilogram class from 181. So he's really quite stout. But, you know, he carries his weight pretty well, I think.
Is that normal for weightlifters to be short?
Yeah, it sure is. That's why I mentioned earlier Zakarevich will probably go up a class. He's 5'10". He's way too tall for this class.
Is this an advantage to be short?
Definitely it is. There's less distance you have to move the weight. You can add more muscle, increases the leverage. That's the whole name of the game.
Okay, this is going to be his second attempt in the clean and jerk. He'll be attempting 485 pounds.
Notice he's got his shoulders all chalked. You know, one thing we might add here, look at the trapezius development on him when the camera goes up. He has huge mounds of muscle on his shoulder, and these facilitate pulling. His pulling power is enormous. Nice clean catches on his fingertips.
No problems at all so far.
Just a big ram over his head. There it is.
Up overhead, Blagoyev has lifted 485 pounds. And that lift, combined with his best lift in the snatch, where he broke the world record, will make him the leader for the moment. And Bruce, the question right now is, who's going to finish first or second? Will either be Blagoyev or Zakarevich, who we're looking at right now in the warm-up room, talking to the great Russian weightlifter in the 181 class, Yuri Vardanian. But earlier, in his first attempt, Yusharov of Bulgaria, another 19-year-old, amazing how young they are, in his first attempt, locked up third place. 468 1/4 pounds. Well, they are young, aren't they?
They are. Look at this nice technique, too. Good pull. He's got it racked in well. Now he'll just jam it over his head, salt it away. Notice how it rests on his clavicles. That is very painful.
All right, Bruce, now looking back, that lift locked up third place in the overall. And now, Blagoyev of Bulgaria, lift number 3, 490.5 pounds. He is in the lead for the total.
You know, this will give him a world record total if he makes it, Bob, in addition, which is really, truly outstanding in this type of competition.
And the total, once again, the best lift in the snatch, combined with the best lift in the clean and jerk. This for a world record in the total.
Intense concentration here. Look at the flexibility in that bottom position. Good rack.
He needs only to get it overhead. And Blagoyev, oh, Bruce, I thought he did have it overhead.
He just didn't wait long enough in the split. He just didn't wait. If he'd waited just a second longer and adjusted, he would have been able to set a record there. There's a tremendous drive on him because he's improved so much in the clean and jerk in the past. He just hasn't clean and jerked so well. Three red lights.
You can see the 3 red lights. That means, of course, that it is no lift. Bruce, that really looked like he came awfully close. Let's take a look at that again.
He pulls it around and back, but he brings it in very close. Nice brush. Turns his elbows over, catches the bar high. Look how he hits the bottom with it. Comes right up, right out of the squat. That's tremendous athletic ability. Notice the flexibility he has. Okay, now he waits to jerk the weight over his head. Slight dip. And the legs split forward and backwards. There it is. Notice how the weight goes forward. He just came a little bit forward with it. He didn't wait long enough. Just a touch out front.
Ever so close, and here he is, Blagoyev, who nevertheless does have the lead in the competition right now. And here's the man who is going to be trying to beat him. 18-year-old Zakarevich of the Soviet Union. He'll be coming out after this. Final moments of the 198-pound class World Weightlifting Championships. And we're looking at Yuri Zakarevich of the Soviet Union, 18 years old, and the only man left in this class who has a chance to beat Blagoyev of Bulgaria.
He sure got his team around him trying to get him worked up for this lift because he needs this lift to move into first place. They put a little chalk on his legs to facilitate the bar moving up. Massage.
You know, Bruce, he's going to be attempting 501.5 pounds. And I remember back in 1970, Alexiev of the Soviet Union, weighing about 350 pounds, was the first man ever to go over 500 pounds.
That's true. This is tremendously great lifting to see him coming up like this. 500 pounds, amazing amount of weight for a 200-pound man.
Tremendous amount of progress over the last 10 years in weightlifting.
Tremendous. These men train harder than ever before.
Zakarevich actually started weightlifting when he was 10 years old.
You know, one of the amazing things about him, he just doesn't have the physique. Like, notice the contrast between Blagoyev and him. Blagoyev's short, stocky, heavily muscled, where Zakarevich has more classic lines.
You know, Bruce, how come they don't wear gloves on their hands?
It's against the rules is the first reason. The second reason, they couldn't grip the bar as well as they need to. The chalk is just enough so that they can grip. There's knurling on the bar, which helps ensure the grip.
Okay, 501.5 pounds. Third attempt. If he makes this, he will win the championship.
This is one of the great things about youth. You know, he has no real mental barriers. Like 500 pounds is a barrier for years. To this kid, it's nothing.
Bruce, it seems to me as he's standing over the bar a lot longer than Blagoyev did.
You're right. This is because he knows he needs it, and he's really not, I don't think he's physically ready to make this lift. And it's just a tremendous thing he's trying here. But this shows a lack of confidence being over the bar so long.
Also inexperience. He's only 18.
Yes. Nice clean.
Looks like he's got it up there.
Oh, shot there. Slip forward. He walked forward.
Well, the 18-year-old from the Soviet Union certainly is going to be hurt from over and over. He holds all the junior world records in this class, and he's now moving up to the seniors. He obviously is very disappointed.
Come for you. What?
The World Weightlifting Championships continue. You're looking at the names of other winners in the 10 weight classes. It's interesting to note as we look at these winners that out of the 9 completed weight classes in a sport that was dominated in the 1950s by the United States, there have been 4 winners by the Soviet Union, 4 winners by Bulgaria, and 1 by East Germany. And we're getting ready for a competition by the super heavyweights in the clean and jerk, and their standings after the snatch lift. Pisarinko of the Soviet Union is in first place, Strychek of Czechoslovakia is second, and Kresev of Bulgaria is third. Right now we're looking at Jerry Hannon of Levittown, New York, 28 years old. He weighed in at 319 pounds. As we can see, he's limping.
Yeah, actually, in my opinion, I wouldn't go out and lift in a case like this because I think it's really dangerous. You have a possible chance of injuring yourself, and somewhere down the line, it could catch up with you. You could really hurt yourself and be out of competition for a while.
Well, what's going to happen if he doesn't lift?
Well, if he doesn't lift, there's no team points, of course, in the clean and jerk or the total scored for the United States. It just depends on how badly he wants to place and how close he's placing towards the top.
I kind of agree with you. When you start lifting almost 400 pounds, you can really get hurt. Let's take a look, though, at that third lift in the snatch. This happened earlier. He's already, in his second lift in the snatch, hurt that leg. Now he's coming out for a third, trying to lift 385 3/4 pounds. One continuous motion overhead.
Looking back at this lift in retrospect, it can be looked at either as a foolish lift or a courageous lift, depending on what position you take. Wasn't even close.
Well, Bruce, as we can see right there, he really couldn't even lift it off the ground. And what really amazes me is that he's even thinking about coming out and trying to make an attempt in the clean and jerk.
It takes a lot of guts to come out with an injury like that, because obviously he's in some pain in the knee area.
Okay, in the snatch lift, he did make 374 3/4 pounds. We can see he was in a lot of pain after that third attempt in the snatch.
He can barely make it up the stairs. Carl Face gave him a hand.
Okay, back now. He's coming out for his first attempt in the clean and jerk, 374 3/4 pounds. Now, Bruce, when he couldn't even make a lift in the snatch in his third attempt, why would he want to come out and try to do this in the clean and jerk?
The main reason, I believe, is so he could total and win team points. He's interested in placing. The higher he places, the better off it helps our team.
Of course, we have to remember that he's had months and months of training at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and I'm sure that's behind him, too.
Well, this is the big thing, too, to get a place. It's the biggest meet of the year here.
Okay, Jerry Hannon trying to lift 374 3/4 pounds and get on the board.
A massive man. Let's see how he pulls it. Oh, look, he split cleaned it. He split cleaned it. This really surprised me.
That takes some pressure off his leg?
Well, it certainly does. But it's not near as efficient to lift.
And overhead, and Jerry Hannon at least will total. He has had one complete lift in the snatch lift, and he has had one complete lift in the clean and jerk.
I would think he'd take it in now. I doubt if he'll continue. He's got a total here, so there's no point continuing.
Well, let's take a look at that again, Bruce.
Look at that. He split cleans it. One leg, 4 and 1 aft. He catches the weight with no problem. Of course, it's a lightweight one. He'll get set now, and then he'll try to favor the leg as much as possible and just kind of shove it over his head and kind of push jerk.
But this really isn't a lot of weight.
No, this is 100 pounds under his best lift.
As a matter of fact, if he's really going to be a competitive in this super heavyweight competition, he's going to have to dramatically raise the weight.
Right, about 200 pounds over that lift.
Okay, we'll be back with Jerry Hannon's second lift in the clean and jerk after this. Who has completed his first attempt in the clean and jerk of 374 3/4 pounds, but Bruce on an injured leg.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to be in this position because it's so painful. You just can't imagine the pain when you pull on the weight and you move under it. It hurts, and he's got a chance of maybe hurting himself so that later down the road he can't represent us somewhere.
Okay, Bruce, he was 9th after the snatch lift. He's America's leading super heavyweight.
Well, I know his coaches, Dick Smith and Jim Smith, are concerned.
Bruce, what is that belt for?
The belt helps give support. It gives a little bit of firmness. It's just something that some lifters wear and some don't, but it really does give you a feeling of solidarity when you're doing a lift. Protects the lower back, too. That's another thing.
We can see that Jerry is still limping, but he will attempt 396 3/4 pounds. Bruce, is that enough to really move him up in the standings?
Well, not really at this point. If someone, it just depends how the other guys do in the list, or if someone might bomb out, he might move up. But the thing is that he is going to get a total and he'll get the United States on the scoreboard. That's the important thing.
But if you say bomb out, that means when they don't make any of their 3 attempts in the clean and jerk.
Right. It happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time, though. Takes a lot of guts to go out and do this lift.
Really concentrating here.
Well, he's taking a long time over the bar. He's probably just hoping he can just jerk it and just hop under the thing. It's interesting to watch him. He uses this split style. I'm sure he'll use it again. Sort of an abbreviated, clean type style. That's what he used to do a long time ago, 20, 30 years ago.
Well, he's got it up to his chest. He only needs to get it overhead. Looks like he has it up there.
Well, looks like a little press out maybe, though, there.
Jerry Hannon of the United States has courageously lifted 396 3/4 pounds. And Bruce, there was one red light, meaning one of the 3 judges didn't think it was a successful lift.
Right, that could have been for either the press out or possibly catching the bar a little low on his shoulders and shoving it up. But nonetheless, he's still got 2 white lights, and that lift is good no matter what.
But at the same time, it doesn't look like that leg is getting any better. Bruce, let's take a look at that lift again, see where he might have made a mistake.
You can see him pulling high. He's actually starting out pulling his hips low, because when he pulls low, it puts his knee in a bad position. He catches a little bit low on the chest, throws it up, recovers easily because it is a light weight for him, commences the jerk. Now here's where it's going to hurt. Rams it up, little press out, there it is.
Well, 2 of the 3 judges thought he made it.
It's a good lift.
Jerry, how's the knee look?
I don't know how it looks, but it feels like hell.
What happened on that? It looked like it was almost like a muscle spasm or something.
Well, it's not a muscle spasm. It's tendon. Something, my snatch warm-ups. Everything was going really good. It just hit a weird position, and I felt a little stretch in there. My first, second attempt at snatch just made it a lot worse. So, extra breaks.
Weren't you afraid of injuring it worse going out there?
Well, I was taking it really gingerly, and just trying to use a little good judgment and trying to work around it. So that's why I took the very light weights and used the weird positions that I did just to get an attempt in to beat a couple of these guys anyway. But
that's a tough break coming all the way over here and all this training.
You're telling me.
Bruce, that's really a tough break for Jerry. And obviously he's out of the competition. But, you know, lifting is something that we all have to contend with in one way or the other, even though obviously we don't lift this kind of weight. Earlier you had a chance to demonstrate exactly the right way and the wrong way.
Every year in the United States, hundreds of thousands of people develop backaches or back problems. One of the main reasons they develop these problems is because of the fact of lifting improperly. Let me demonstrate how most people will lift something around the house. A light object might be 25, 30 pounds. They pull it around it back like this, and then they go like this, and they grab their back. This gives us a backache. The proper way as demonstrators, we use the legs, the hips, and the arm like this, and lift straight up. We use the major muscles of the body. Now let me show you how we would do it with the bar. This is the main thing that the weightlifter is interested in. He wants to keep a flat back. He grabs the bar in this position, flat back, head up, hips down, and then he begins his pull right in this position right here with a flat back. Very easily done, and if you do it incorrectly, of course, you can have a back injury.
Well, Bruce, you really have to have respect for these lifters, because here is a lifter, Yusarov, a Bulgarian, the 198-pound class, who appeared to be lifting okay, and he got hurt.
Good flat back, pulls, comes up, comes up nice and drops it. He's got a back pain, something's wrong. Compressed vertebra probably. He's in real pain, though. You can tell he can hardly stand up straight.
It means when you go to the gym or you start lifting weights, particularly anything like this, you really do need some coaching. But right now we're looking at the new phenomena in the super heavyweight class. As a matter of fact, in all of weightlifting, Anatoly Pisarinko of the Soviet Union, he already holds 2 of the 3 existing world records in the super heavyweight class and has taken over from the great Alexiev. At Poland, getting ready for his 3rd attempt in the clean and jerk, 512.5 pounds.
You know, really interesting thing about him, Bob, is the fact that he's moved up from the 110-kilo class. One of the reasons is because he loved to eat. The Polish coaches didn't want him to move up, but they had to let him.
Okay, he was 4th after the snatch lift. He makes this, so we're moving to 2nd place, and upstairs, warming up, Pisarinko, and you know, he just looks furious up there, and he's already lifted 512.5 pounds in his 1st attempt in the clean and jerk, and looks like Rakowski here is just lifting for 2nd place.
Well, essentially he is. He's just kind of piddling along, but still it's a tremendous amount of weight, and it's a personal record for him and a Polish record. So it is still excellent lifting. It just shows the supremacy that the Russians have in this particular class.
Particularly Pisarinko right now. And here he is upstairs now. Look at the determination on his face.
Like a caged lion.
Back to Rakowski.
273.5 pounds. Solid build. Technically, he's a very sound lifter. One of his best attributes is the way he catches the weight in the bottom in the squat clean and bounces it. Easy clean. A little shake and a jerk. He's got to hold on.
A little wobbly, but pending a white light from the judges, it looks as though he has now moved into 2nd place. Yes, he has. Rakowski of Poland, for the moment, has moved into 2nd place. Looks pretty happy about that, doesn't he?
Well, he ought to be. It's a tremendous lift. New Polish record.
Okay, here comes Pisarinko, getting ready for his 2nd attempt in the clean and jerk.
Look at him. Look at the concentration on his face.
You know, those eyes almost look like the eyes of a wolf, don't they?
Somewhat. More like a lynx, I think.
Let's take a look at that first lift, 512.5 pounds.
Look at the physique on this man. What a contrast with the great Alexiev.
Well, he only came in weighing 269 pounds, and Alexiev used to weigh 350 pounds.
As high as 366. What a tremendous contrast. about the same height, too. Look at the erectors on it. His back muscles enormous.
Well, he had absolutely no... He picked it up like a toothpick.
Much too light for his opening attempt.
Why would he pick a weight that light?
Well, ensure victory. That's the main thing. This ensured victory for him.
Okay, no trouble for Pisarinko. That moved him in first place. Now he's coming out for his second attempt, 523.5 pounds. You know, Bruce, he used to be a Greco-Roman wrestler in his earlier days.
Yeah, he did, but he got interested in weightlifting. Once the weightlifting bug bites you, it's all over. You really become dedicated to it.
Also at 23, he's quite young for a weightlifter.
It's unbelievable. 23 years of age, holds the world record in the total, world record in the snatch, beating the great Rachmaninoff. This athlete has a tremendous future.
You know, it's amazing. He just practically came out of nowhere.
He has intense concentration. This is one of the keys to weightlifting. One of the beauties of weightlifting is that it's a sport where it's just the man against the barbell.
I think the thing we have to really try to appreciate here is that this weighs 523.5 pounds.
Over time. Nice clean. Look at him come up with it easily. A little out front, however.
Once again, easily overhead for Pisarinko, and if he hadn't locked it up before, with one attempt to go, it certainly looks as though he's locked up the competition now.
It's going to be difficult to overtake him, if not impossible.
It would almost take a miracle at this point, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. What a fine athlete.
But he doesn't even seem happy with it.
Well, he shouldn't be. He's way under the world records that he's set before, so I can understand why he'd be down a little bit. But it's a world championship, and the most important thing is to win.
The world record in this event, 567.5 pounds, set by another Soviet, Marchuk.
Marchuk weighed 341 pounds. Slight discussion ensuing over what weight should be taken, I'm sure, for next. He wants to go for world record. It's right there.
He still seems furious. Okay, now coming out, Salzwedel of East Germany, 25 years old. He'll be attempting 523.5 pounds. So it looks like he's cleaned it easily.
Yeah, a great replacement for Bonk and Heuser.
If he makes this, and it looks like he has, this will move him into second place.
Not even a weightlifting belt on him. Notice that. No weightlifting belt and no knee wraps. Very unusual. These Germans are very, very competitive, though.
Okay, Bruce, let's take another look at that.
Deep bottom position, just like Bonk. Pulls out nice. Look at this. He pulls it very nicely. Racks it deep, very deep into clean. Uses the bar to come up. Notice how he takes the bounce, comes up with it. Gets set very solid for the jerk now. A little dip, bends the knees. He drives weight over his head, behind his ears. Just a touch out front there, you notice. But he recovers very nicely. Weight's well under control.
523.5 pounds, and now we have Pisarinko. The weight has gone up to 568.5 pounds. The world record, 567.5 for a new world record. This will give him all three world records, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Snatch, clean and jerk, and the total.
And this is 300 pounds over body weight. That's incredible.
Pisarinko already has locked up the competition.
Notice him chalking in the rosin box over there. Once again, wearing the Russian weightlifting boots with a leather sole. There's a good possibility to slip. Leather slips on the wood. So he chalks in the rosin box. Very trim, athletic-looking physique. The only thing he's wearing is the knee wraps. Notice that. Knee wraps and a belt.
And Bruce, he's moved the weight up 45 pounds from his previous successful lift.
I think it's a bit of a jump, but the Russians are accustomed to large jumps like this. What a physique. Notice the shoulder development on him.
It looks like he's just furious.
There's a little rage burning in him. I can see this. Determined look on that face. Nice. Very, very close.
He got under it.
Sticking point. Tremendous pull this athlete has. Tremendous.
Well, he's won the competition with a total of 936 3/4 pounds.
Certainly
all of a sudden, his whole personality seems to be changing.
Well, being world champion, it helps. Looks to be an able replacement.
Too.
Very able replacement for the great Alexiev.
This is a little bit more than able replacement. He already has 2 out of 3 world records.
Good point. No big things, what he's saying.
A very happy Pisarinko.
Have been issued for parts of New Mexico and Arizona. And we also have thunderstorms spreading from that area into Missouri. A tornado watch was issued today for northwestern Texas. Up in the northeastern corner of the country, gale warnings and high wind warnings have been issued for much of the area from